Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Donaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, the original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome in. It's another edition of the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, the strongest Ravens affiliate on the eastern shore of Maryland and Delaware, 93.5 The Beach. We are broadcasting from the infamous Ravens Room at the Blue Ox 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City with Ravens fans all across Delmarva. And, of course, Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand, guys. Coming up, we're going to recap the 49-27 opening game loss to the Denver Broncos. We're going to talk news and notes. Also, we're going to take a trip around the AFC North and preview the upcoming game against the Cleveland Browns. Kickoff at 1 o'clock at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. On the radio, of course, that is preceded by the network pregame show at 12:30 and our show, which is going to air at 11 a.m. The Ravens Wrap Show, of course, brought to you by our fine friends at the original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, our friends at Bud Light, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Geico, the Ocean City Golf Club, jctickets.net, the Holiday Inn Express at Northside in Ocean City, right over to our right, and our friends at Donaway Furniture, where right now, folks, they've got an in-stock outdoor furniture 50% off sale. They've got all sorts of stuff going on there, so you want to check it out. Very comfortable outdoor patio furniture for you. Same-day delivery if you buy off the deck. Also free local delivery for you, and they have the best prices on mattresses at the beach. Check them out. Donaway Furniture, located there at 130th Street. 410-250-5100. Of course, they provided us with this beautiful set here for the Ravens Wrap Show for the 2013 season. I'm Mike Bradley from 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore and 92.7 WGMD locally. To my left, OC local, business entrepreneur, I should say, and former Lehigh College player John Garrett. Welcome back, John. Also to our left, former coach, Ravens Roost 44 member Steve Slaza. Welcome back. Steve. And one of the founding members and owner of the Green Turtle in West Ocean City, that is, of course, Tommy Dickerson. Tommy, welcome back. Yeah. Tommy was our good luck charm last year on the Ravens Wrap Show leading up to the Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl after he was on.
Absolutely. So, hey, a couple of quick things I wanted to go over before we get into recapping the game against the Denver Broncos last week. I want to thank Sean Soper and the Maryland Coastal Dispatch. Had a really nice write-up on the Ravens Wrap Show in last Friday's edition. I believe September the 5th or 6th. Is the date on that, but check that out online, or if you can pick up a paper if there are any left. The Dispatch did a great job on that. Also, I wanted to take a quick moment, and since we've last been on the program from last year to this year, of course, in Ocean City, we suffered the loss of Great Scott Broadcasting owner Mitch Scott, who did a lot for the Ocean City community. And since we're doing our first radio show as well, I wanted to take a time out and just remember him and all the things that he did for this community. He will definitely be missed, but certainly not forgotten. He was definitely a friend of Ravens Wrap and, of course, Steve Pappas and many of us here. And as we broadcast the show on this 9/11 as well, thoughts and prayers go out to those families as we remember 12 years ago. But moving on to the show and to the game, guys, I thought it was a little ironic that here, our first game without Ray Lewis, without Ed Reed, we find out before the game starts that head coach John Harbaugh was awarded a 4-year extension in the range of $6 million a year. And we go out and give up the most points that our team's ever given up before defensively. And, of course, it just wasn't a very good game for the Ravens, especially defensively. Peyton Manning delivering 7 touchdown passes for 462 yards. He became the first player to throw for 7 touchdowns since quarterback Joe Kapp did so for the Minnesota Vikings, ironically, against the Baltimore Colts back on September 28th of 1969. But, John, of course, I'll start with you. It was a tale of two halves. This wasn't a game in which we got blown out from quarter 1 to quarter 4. We led at halftime by a field goal, should have been a touchdown. So I'd be a little bit more concerned if it was a 4-quarter blowout. We played well in the first half, but the second half obviously was a lot different.
That's exactly right. I mean, the tale of this game is when you don't execute plays against the best teams in the league, you're going to get your butt kicked. And that's basically what happened. And it started with the drop touchdown with Dallas Clark going into halftime. And when you drop balls Really, I thought the Ravens dominated the first half, did pretty much everything they wanted to do, moved the ball up and down the field. I mean, this is the first time I've seen Ravens wide receivers. How many times have we been on the show and talking about why can't our guys get open? I mean, we had receivers running wide open, and you know, when you come out and drop balls in the second half, and then you allow a quarterback like Peyton Manning to get reps and to get hot, then you're asking for trouble, Steve.
I thought the makeup of the roster, I mean, I was sitting there and I was going, this is great, but, you know, when you're only carrying 4 defensive backs and you're only carrying 4 wide receivers and 3 because you had one get injured, Jacoby Jones, you know, I knew that second half, you know, when you're in high altitude, it just was not going to be, you know, our running day.
Tommy?
Well, I think the score was deceiving. It really was. I mean, you know, you can say that Dallas Clark dropped a touchdown, but you can also say the guy from Dallas dropped it. I mean, Denver dropped it. You know, they give me, he dropped it on the yard line, didn't go in, so it could have been 56. I mean, honestly, we got tired. I mean, the team got tired in the second half. The altitude, and when you have to go and face Peyton Manning. But again, I think those numbers are deceiving because it's, okay, there's a pass that should have been reviewed. That should have been touchdown. It's third down, we get the ball back. And the last touchdown he threw it for 5 yards, and the guy ran 77 yards. So, you know, there's a lot of things there that are misleading, and it's a game you have to look at situations. But, you know, the Ravens really, really looked out of shape in the second half, and I think a lot of it's the altitude, but they should have been playing at home in the first place, and I think it had a lot to do with it. But, you know, what Super Bowl champions don't play at home? They didn't, but I wouldn't be too concerned. I think they played pretty well in certain aspects of the game, but they got fatigued.
I mean, when you drop balls, I mean, it just goes down as a dropped pass. But when you don't move the chains, and you're in the altitude, and you're in the best defense against Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers is to keep them on the bench. And you don't do that because you have incomplete passes that lead to third downs and fourth downs. Then you're going to lose. That's just the way it is. So those little drops, and even when it's a seemingly meaningless drop, when you don't get 4 or 5 yards to get favorable down and distance, it's going to crush you every single time. Again, we're not playing, you know, the Bills or the Jets here. I mean, these are the Broncos.
We will eventually, but it wasn't the other day.
So, I mean, you're going to pay for it, and we did.
I mean, and Steve, you've coached before as well. You've been a part of it. This thing seemed to snowball, and I think John alluded to it right before right before the end of the first half. Of course, Dallas Clark drops what would be a touchdown, so we settled for a field goal. We come out in the second half. You know, they score a touchdown. The Wes Welker play was not reviewed. John Harbaugh said they didn't see it upstairs in the booth. You could argue one way or the other. I don't think whether that play happened or not. I think they still score points in the second half. Weren't stopping anybody there. But the bottom line, it snowballed. They score on that touchdown drive. They block a punt, sets up good field position. They score. So you're up 20 or up 17-14. All of a sudden, you're turned around and it's 28-17 in a matter of just a few minutes.
I mean, that's just to comment on what John was commenting on. I mean, it's a razor line, I mean, between, you know, good and great and between good and bad. In the NFL, I mean, they've got exactly what they want. It's parity. I mean, nobody is a runaway great team and nobody is a terrible team. Everybody is right there. And like John's saying, I mean, we had 8 drop passes. I mean, you can't do that because each one of those passes could have been a first down and could have kept Peyton Manning off the field. So, I mean, you're 1 or 2, yeah, you could survive that. 8 drop passes, there's no way. But, you know, bottom line is third quarter, they just ran out of gas.
But they run out of gas because they drop balls.
Yep.
And when your defense can't sit on the bench and get a break because the offense can't sustain a drive because they have an incomplete pass or an inaccurate throw, or someone doesn't make a play. That's the thing. When someone doesn't make a good play, you pay for it. And everybody that's played sports has, you know, gotten their butts kicked, and things just spiral out of control. I agree with Tommy saying. I mean, sometimes that just happens. It doesn't mean that's the indicator of who you are as a team. So it just got out of control against one of the best players in the first half. Tommy, we had him under control. I mean, I thought we had Peyton Manning exactly where we want him.
They put a statistic up as late in the middle of the second quarter. He was 6 for 12 for 50 yards. We're playing well. Everything's good. You want to keep people off the field or keep the defense, you have to run the ball. And I think the Ravens, I'm sorry, you throw 62 passes, you're not going to win in the NFL. We gave up on the run, and that's how you keep defenses off. You can talk about drop passes, I went 8. Is that terrible? It's not the worst. When you throw 62, not so bad. But you can't throw 62 passes. But you get behind. But you get behind for a reason, and you get behind real quick, and the Ravens panic. I'm sorry, the one he threw to Dallas Clark was across the field. It was this close to being intercepted for a touchdown. I mean, we're lucky that would go. But I mean, I'm sorry. And He threw another one, Flacco threw another, he panicked. He threw one that looked like me playing quarterback. He threw it across the field, and it was covered by 2 people. I mean, that was ridiculous. That was a terrible play, and we panicked. He has to keep his composure. I'm sorry, I hate to bring up a bad situation, but Anquan Bolden played fantastic for now. Should we have kept him? I think everybody says, yeah, we should. But it's easier said than done, yeah. But if I'm Joe Flacco, I'm like, okay, I need that guy. I'm giving up my $120 million. I'll take 115 if that's going to make me a better player. Now I'm down to receivers that we've never heard of.
But he did.
But I mean, they make you. Anquan Bolden made Joe Flacco a great Super Bowl quarterback. He played great during the run. They both did. But I mean, he saved his butt.
So you could also argue, though, Tommy, if you bring back an Anquan Bolden and maybe try to bring back some of the other guys, that's fine on the offensive side of the ball. But you could argue this game might have been 84 to 27 because defensively it didn't allow the Ravens or wouldn't have allowed the Ravens to pick up the amount of free agents to fix the defense, which was pretty poor last year. But you brought up a good point in terms of running the football. I noticed, and it's tough to argue, they had the lead in the first half, so it's tough to nitpick with the play calling. But I still agree with you. They did not establish the run in the first half. Of the first 19 plays called, only 6 were running plays. The other 13 were passing plays. And I just thought we needed to establish that ground game better and the play action pass for a receiving core that wasn't up to snuff necessarily compared to last year, and some new guys in there as well with Clark and Stokely and Dixon coming back from the hamstring. So I agree 110%. But when they did run, they sure weren't that effective either, though, Steve.
I thought early we were running the ball. We were running the ball well. But then as the game progressed in the second and third quarter, we were getting shut down. So I don't know how much it was we went away from the run or they were just stacking the run and inviting us to pass, and we were unable to do it.
Well, you get down that much too, John, and we got about 45 seconds. You get down after a while, 28-17. Yeah, you can you run the ball to a certain extent, but after a while you are going to have to throw when it gets further, it gets worse and worse. So I think that 62 is inflated a little bit because they had to.
Yeah, I mean, but I agree. Your 2 best skill position players are running backs, and it seemed like they were missing in action a little.
Did get a whole lot of touches, no question. The good news, folks, here as we wrap up this segment is that, hey, look, this loss hurts. It could affect seeding in the AFC, but there are a lot of players here that can do a lot better. We know that. And at the end of the day, your number 1 goal is to win the division. Hey, that is still definitely within sights. Everybody went 0-1. We'll talk more about the loss to the Denver Broncos. It's a Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Beach TV at 93.5 The Beach. We're back next.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.